Honorable Abiodun Tobun of Ekpe Constituency 1 has indicated his intentions to become the Speaker of Lagos State House of Assembly, and Honorable Tobun will be challenging the incumbent Honorable Mudashiru Ajayi Obasa of Agege Constituency for that position. Equal Blog is here and live with Honorable Abiodun Tobun, and in this exclusive interview, he will be telling us more about his intentions. It promises to be an insightful package. Don't go away. Can you confirm to Equal Blog that you're contesting for the speakership seat?
Yes, I can confirm that 100%. I'm confirming my aspiration to contest for the speakership position of Lagos State House of Assembly come June 7 or thereafter 2023 by God's grace.
Okay, sir. So while your decision to veer for the speakership of the House did not come as a surprise to many, who know you very well, of course, the question is then why now? Why did you decide to contest now?
Yes, thank you very much. I decided to contest now because before now, the current assembly subsists, and until June 6, that it will expire. And the first thing to do is to contest at your various constituencies and win first. When you win, that is when you can come out into the House to contest as a Speaker of the House. That we have gone through that procedure. We've won the primary. We've won the general election. Now it's in-house politics. And this is the right time to fight for such position. And to God be the glory. I'm a ranking member of the Parliament of the House. I've been there for 3 times. I'll be going there again for the 4th time. So I've spent 12 years. And I'll be spending another 4 years to make 16 years. So I feel I'm ripe for the position. And the current Speaker, I've spent 20 years. He will be coming to spend another 4 years to make 24 years in the chamber. But he has spent 2 terms as Speaker, which is 8 years. And we feel we should change pattern so that other people can come up with fresh ideas, at least as a ranking and experienced member of the Parliament. So we have chosen to wait till this time when it will be ripe for us to come out. And that is why I have signified my intention, and I've equally informed my colleagues that were together the ranked and the honorable members elect of my intention to vie for that position.
In one of your recent interviews, you said getting any principal office was based on the arrangements by the leaders of the party. So what is the position of your party as regards this?
Thank you very much. You know, our party is a progressive party. And our party is a party that believes in democracy so much. And a party that fought for the entrenchment of democracy in the country, and especially our leaders. The position of our party is clear. Everything must be done according to the laid down principle, which is tenets of the democracy. So the leadership of the party will definitely come up to tell us what their intention looks like. But I know that the leadership of the party are people who are very, very good, who know the tenets of democracy, who believe in equity, fairness, and justice, and who believe things must be done properly. Yes, they will come up to tell us their own position, which could be through consensus, and which could be that we will be asked to go and contest on the floor of the House. For me, the decision of the leadership of the party is sacrosanct, and it is binding on all of us. You understand? So I'm expecting the leaders to come up, and not until that day we cannot arrogate that the leadership will give it directives. So I've shown the people my intention to vie for the position. And the current speaker too have shown his interest to return to the seat for the third term. So it is now the decision of the leaders to look at it, that going back for the third term as the executive arm of the parliament, is it proper? If it were to be governor of the state or the president of the country, based on the laid down rule and procedures, based on the constitution of the country, will it be proper for them to go back for the third term? If they said yes, so be it. I will not do anything above the leadership of the party, because they nominated us to be members of the parliament. We carry the flag of the party. We are not on our own. So the leadership, the party, for me, is supreme. But it will be unfair on my part to fold my arms and allow what I feel should be challenged to go unchallenged. So I feel I'm okay. I've garnered the experience, the exposure, I have the ability, I'm well informed, and I know the procedural approach in the parliament. So if the current speaker has served for 2 terms, in my own opinion, I feel it should allow other people to contribute their own fresh idea so as to move the parliament to the next level and bring in new ideas. So the leaders will come up, but I've consulted widely. I've equally informed the leaders of my intention to vie for that position. I've equally informed my colleagues in the parliament of my interest to serve them. So the decision now is between the leaders of our party, and the members of the parliament to decide who gets what. And I will be pleased to abide by the decisions. So if I'm lucky, I'm given the opportunity to occupy that position, I will be glad. And I will do what is expected of me. So that's it.
Can you tell us what difference you're bringing to the table that makes you qualify for that speakership position?
Oh, well, thank you very much. You see, I've worked with 2 speakers. I've worked with Speaker Adeyemi Sabit Ikuforiji. Okay. Fine man. I know his approach to leadership. I know his words. I know his contribution to the development of that House of Assembly, Lagos State. I've equally watched other leaders like Senator Mamura when he was presiding over the House, severally. And I've equally worked with Right Honorable Mudashiru Ajayi Obasa. He has tried his best too. He has worked, he has used his own approach too. So I'm going to sieve the best out of all of them and bring them together to bring in more robust leadership to the House. I'm going to bring more people. I'm going to allow, you see, we're going to bring our people, we're going to involve our people in our decision making. But let me just put it this way. I will bring in the best leadership approach that will make the parliament to work perfectly for the benefits of Lagosians and residents. That I assure you. And that my colleagues know too. They have the profile, have the experience, have the exposure, have the tenacity to bring in more evolving approach to the leadership of the House. That's a promise I will bring in. And that will be a fresh idea. and most other things that cannot be discussing now on camera.
It is alleged that the incumbent Speaker, Honorable Mudashiru Ajayi Obasa, is not an indigene of Lagos State. So what are your thoughts on this, especially regarding this current position?
To some people, they feel it's not from Lagos State. Yeah, that is true. He's from Ogun State, and he's not hiding that. He's been living in Lagos State for a longer period of time, you know, so, and the people have voted him to represent them, and so there's nothing bad. I don't see anything, you know. But what matters most is the competence and the approach to issues and the leadership style that I feel I have a renewed approach, a renewed hope to bring on board, to make the parliament more dynamic, to allow members to freedom of speech. Let members be able to express themselves. Let members be able to articulate their points. Let's allow for robust debate within the House. You see, what matters is, it's not where you come from, but the leadership. Though Lagosians, residents feel, well, enough is enough, he's not an indigene, he should go back, well, that may be their approach. After all, Barack Obama was the president of the United States of America. You understand? So, but what matters most in most cases is your leadership style. If you are good, nobody wants to ask you where you come from. Once they are getting the best out of you. It's when they start feeling that you are not good, too good, or your approach is becoming draconian somehow, or we are bringing autocracy into democracy, people tend to ask questions. That maybe because it's not from this clan, or it's not from this area, that is why it's acting in that way. But I'm not going that way. I'm not going that route. Because there are some people too who are in government who are not from Lagos State. And they are doing wonderfully better to enhance the development of the state. To me, and for me, he has tried his best. But I feel, and I'm convinced, that I can do better. And he knows that I can do better. There are some people too who will come after me. They are even putting the best. So I'm not saying I'm a perfect human being, but I've watched this leadership approach and leadership style over years. I've watched that of Right Honorable Mudashiru, Right Honorable Sabita Adeyemi Ikuforiji. I've equally watched the approach of Senator Olorunibe Mamora. Though I was not in the house then, but that during the time of Ikuforiji, I was there. So I can compare and contrast two of them. I can see in the best of approach and bring the two together and come out more better than what we are currently seeing in the work we are currently having in the chamber. So the issue of where it comes from, let those who are discussing that continue with that. And don't let me dwell too much on it.
As a chairman, House Committee on Works, can you share with us the oversight function of your committee?
Yes. Thank you very much. You see, as the chairman, House Committee on Works and Infrastructure, which is the engine room of the government, and by extension, that is what showcase or what symbolize what the government stands for. Well, I can tell you that the governor of the state, Governor Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu, in the course of our oversight function, we've been able to establish that he has succeeded in distributing dividends of democracy in terms of infrastructure development across the state. There is no local government that has not been touched by the current administration. And one other thing that I've been able to observe during my oversight function is that he was able to complete all the ongoing projects initiated by his predecessor. Not like many governors who we abandoned what the predecessor were doing and start a new project. So he was able to complete most of the ongoing projects. Thirdly, I was able to observe that he initiated projects and at the same time draw plan of work with the competence and cooperation of members of the public works, members of the works family. They were able to implement projects within the time frame. And we monitor them to ensure that quality jobs are done. And we can attest to it in the course of our oversight function that competent contractors were given jobs to, well mobilized, and deliver to time. And that is why you see the governor commissioning projects all across the state. So, and for some few people who were falling short of expectation, we did not hesitate to bring them to books. And that is why most people double their efforts, because they know the house, we monitor them. You understand? So, and in the course of administrating a contract, we observed that some ministry were working at cross purposes. We were able to harmonize the ministry and come up with standard operating procedures. We had meeting with them. We called them to the parliament. We educated them that instead of demolishing a wrong way and leave it for a longer period, so we told them that Ministry of Physical Planning should have conducted a reconnaissance survey when the project is initiated. Know the houses that are properties or that's going to be affected. And land too will have taken the inventory. Look at financial implication. Advise the governor or the government as appropriate. So that when the contractor is coming to the site, the roadway is ready, the encumbrances are removed. Not like before where you remove the encumbrances, you find it very difficult to remove the encumbrances and the money were already with the contractor. So by this time around, you remove the encumbrances, the contractor move into the site, and the people that needs to be compensated were compensated. So there were a lot of outstanding people to be compensated. We, as a house and lands, to ensure that all those outstanding payments were given to those people that were involved, a lot of them in Lagos State. So during our home time, as the Chairman's Committee on Works and Infrastructure, we were able to do this, just to make sure that administration of contract in Lagos State become very good. Thank God we have a special advisor on works who is committed. If she's not doing fine, I'll tell you she's not doing fine. In person of Engineer Aramide Adeyoye, she's committed to doing the job. And she's so passionate. I think she's from public sector. She came from Julius Baja, if I'm not mistaken. So she's more involved. And she monitored. We have young men, we have young dynamic officers who are ready, so they are all on their toes. And they know that we will never allow them to rest on their horse. We are meant to represent the people. We are meant to represent members of the public. And it was expected of us that we do what is expected of us. So I can say proudly that most of the job in Lagos State are going seasonally. And that is why the rate of abandonment has reduced. We are seeing working and performing. And that is why you see, for example, the Eleko-Ekpe Junction got completed within a short period. The Lot 1, Lot 2, along Badagry Expressway, working on it. The Obasolomade Road, Ipakodo. You see, most of those places, you are seeing them completing the job within a short period. Not where you get the job down and it's taken till eternity or people now abandon the project. So the rate of abandoning project has reduced because we did not allow them to rest on their horse. And the executives too are planning to make sure they deliver to time.
So what are the successes of the night assembly?
The night assembly, like an assembly, has been able to contribute meaningfully. We've been able to pass so many laws, we've been able to pass so many resolutions, and we'll be able to collaborate and cooperate with the executives and challenge them where necessary to ensure that the governor and the government do what is expected of them. The night assembly, we have never played a rubber stamp parliament, and we have done what is expected of us. The number of bills is in the number of almost 50, and we have so many resolutions passed. So if I know you'll be going through this route, I will have equipped myself with the actual figure. But we're able to pass so many resolutions that are so impactful to the life of the people. And we're able to pass so many laws, and we're able to review some laws too. Laws are not cast on stone. And so the Lagos House of Assembly, the night assembly, has done wonderfully well under the leadership of Right Honorable Mudashiru Ajayi Obasa.
In what areas do you think the 10th Assembly should look into for a better legislation?
Yes. Well, I must tell you that we are planning our legislative agenda as a house. We're going to concentrate more on youth empowerment. We're going to concentrate more on the health sector. We are looking at extending the health facilities to all the nook and cranny, looking at the primary health care centers, looking at primary health care, looking at the tertiary health care, looking at, you see, there are some hospitals that have problems. So we're having a legislative agenda that be drawn. You understand? Yeah. And it's not going to be, a parliament is not a one-man show. It's an idea, aggregation of a 40 wise man. You understand? So we'll bring the idea. And infrastructure, already know. There are a lot of places that you need to see what is going on there. There were some areas that you can say we're not really feeling the impact of governments. Like Jede, Ipakodo area. Yes, the present government was able to do the road from Itamaga across to Jede side. But if you look further, you will discover that we still need to do more. Then coming back to where here, you look at from Itomu, Ladaba, Ishon, Gadangba, so many other areas to Eleronogbe. We still need to work on it. We are talking of Marine Road, taking traffic vehicles, taking traffic away from Biniore, taking it through the beach side, which travel time will be reduced. Economic activities, this is what they've done in our advanced country. You understand? So I believe there's going to be a renewed infrastructure development. We're going to make legislations and we're going to collaborate too. Looking at the budgetary provisions, scrutinizing them, looking at memorandum of understanding on most projects. Then land administration too. We're going to look at something like what's going on in the land administration in Lagos State. We know how land administration is run in Dubai. We know how land administration is run in other advanced countries. How is it run in Lagos State? We're going to look at the law. We're going to look at the law in Lagos. We're going to look at the law in other clans. We're going to look at the benefits to the state and benefits to the citizens so that we'll be able to come up. So we're having our legislative agenda. Once the 10th Assembly is inaugurated, we set up a committee to work on the legislative agenda. By God's grace, as the Speaker of the House, we equally have my own inputs. So that when we come up with our legislative agenda, with specific time frame, we work with it. And we'll call a public hearing and let public know what we intend doing. And we are planning to have a kind of what we call enlarged stakeholders meeting. where we have the party structures, the party leadership, some part of executives, where we have an enlarged meeting on some laws. We'll have known what's going to be their opinion before we now send it to the members of the public. So that any law that we introduce will be a law that's meant to fully impact on the life of the people, and there will be no outcry or outburst in any way. So we have our plans. And just let's pass through this stage, the proclamation of the House. So once the House is proclaimed, and I become the Speaker, then by God's grace, we start doing what is expected of us. And I know my colleagues did not have doubts of my competence, of my readiness to work for them. And I promise I'll work for them.
Thank you so much, Honorable Tobun, for taking our time to talk to us. We really appreciate you, sir.
It's my pleasure.
So much,
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
I'm happy to receive you. I'm happy to be here with you. So I wish we have another time to chat and interact on the state of affairs of the state when I eventually become the Speaker of the House.
Of course you will.
God's bless.
Thank you very much, sir.
It's my pleasure.
Thank you, sir. So, and there you have it straight from Honorable Tobun's mouth. He has given a clear insight of his intentions to run for the speakership position. Trust us to follow through and bring you news as the event leading to the State House of Assembly elections unfolds. Thank you very much for joining us once again. I remain your host, Olayinka Olorunshola. And of course, don't forget to follow us across all of our social media platforms and hit the subscribe button if you're yet to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you very much once again, and bye for now.